Take your time. Fine.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for all those people that came into the chat early. Gaswina, Sine Wave. Awesome to see you here. Our guest artist is not here yet. Usually he does not run late. I don't know if there's a miscommunication that we were going to do this Friday. I'm pretty sure he's still going to be a guest artist today. Maybe he's just running late. I don't. So we're just waiting. Oh, here he is.
Yay.
And we have Gracie with us just for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Gracie's just with us for a few minutes. She won't be staying long. Hi, Ian.
Hello. I'm just getting myself set up and sorted out. Want to.
Yay. There you go, Diana. You can breathe out now.
Breathe out.
Breathe in, breathe out.
Breathe in, breathe out. That's the general standard routine.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, that should do it.
Oh, boy.
Now, just one question, right? Do people want me to have my palette in the picture or not? Because I can zoom in a lot more. Is it mission critical for me to have the palette in there?
Do you want me to take a vote in the chat?
Yeah, those who were here can decide whether we have it in or not.
Put your votes in the chat, people.
Okay, please put your vote in the chat. Yes, you want to see the painting palette on screen. No, you don't want to. Yes, you want to see it. No, you don't care about seeing the painter's palette.
Mm-hmm.
The paint that he's using. Yes, you want to see the paint that he's using, or no, you don't care about seeing the paint that he's using.
Yeah. I'm intrigued as to what the drawing is, Ian.
Well, it's a slight abstraction today.
Yeah.
It's a close-up. And as we said last week, we're going to look at a botanical painting, i.e. something that's orientated around a flower.
Yeah.
Flower.
Okay, I'm reading the chat. Just a minute. The painting scoop is here. She said she can only listen. She can't. She's here but has no sound, so she'll just watching.
All right. As she switched the sound off.
Well, I'm assuming there's the circumstances are requiring her to do that.
Yeah, that would help.
Guy Sweeney, please tell us. Oh, she says not necessary. Yeah, Mystic Unicorn says yes, he could show it occasionally.
Well, I mean, what I can do, I mean, the palette itself, I'm only going to be actually what I can do, because I'm going to mostly. I'll show it you now. What? It's going to be all mauvey kind of purples. So
pretty
that's it, really.
Well, my vote is no, don't show it, because give it more room to see the artwork.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see how much more room we can make then.
Okay, putting on the big screen.
Big screen.
So I mean, right, this is what it would look like if we were going to have it on.
I do like that palette, Mr. Jackson.
It's what do they call it?
Is that White Nights one?
It's a White Nights palette, yes.
Yeah, I like those. How many pans do you have in there?
I think you can get 36 in there.
Oh wow, cool.
Or 38, I can't remember. Which is massive overkill. In one painting, if you used all them, then you're doing something wrong. You're doing something radically wrong. So,
Whoops. Okay.
Whoops.
Well, I pressed the button. And do you want to see who's in the chat? You want to hear who's in the chat?
Yeah, let's have a roll call. It's your job. Come on, roll call.
Okay, roll call. Sine Wave was here about 10 minutes before we started. Thank you, Sine Wave.
Hello.
Hello.
Now I'm going to.
Came here early.
I'm going to adjust this and show you. I can really zoom into that quite and put all that to one side if we really want to, because it's not absolutely necessary. Let's see if I can do this without wrecking the entire system.
Let me continue roll call. Sine Wave, Guswina came here early too. Sine Wave was the first person here very early. Let's see. He's made a lot of comments. I'm trying to scroll through. Hold on. Painting Stoof is here, but she's watching without sound. Okay.
All right. Hello, Stu.
Hello.
Okay. Just a minute. Let me scroll down.
I can't read the chat, guys, so I'm not being rude if I'm not saying hello or goodbye or anything, but Diana will kindly read the chat out for me.
I say hello, you say goodbye.
And we have 5 people watching, but I think there's some people listening that I have not named, and we right out of the gate we got a thumbs down already.
Oh, boo.
Yeah.
7 thumbs up, 1 thumbs down.
Boo.
Oh well. Like I was saying to Linda, concentrate on those who actually are positive about you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're out.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us now about material supplies, paper, paint, and any research you did or inspiration?
Yeah. Well, my normal level of research is I go on either, what do they call it, Unsplashed.
Yeah. Yes, or Pixabay.
Or Pixabay, or there's one or two others. And you do a general search. I found this a bit complicated because it all depends what you consider to be botanical. Actual proper botanical drawing is illustration. And it's like a very scientific form of drawing I've not done all my setting up yet. And yeah, you keep talking a bit because I'm just getting set up at the moment.
Okay, hello GW Pitbull, and I was going to type in to say hello to Stephanie, the painting student, because she can't hear, but welcome GW Pitbull.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Ian.
Is she having technical problems with her sound? I'm
going to ask her. I have to type it in. Hello.
That's an amazing drawing, Ian. Wow.
Oh, thank you. Right, I'm locking that off. Move that to one side so I can see. Is that nice? That looks to me to be nice and sharp.
Yeah, that's fine. Perfect. Perfect.
See, you're seeing it on StreamYard. You see, it's what it looks like on YouTube when they crunch it down.
Oh, okay.
Which is the issue.
Yeah.
Right. I think I'm virtually ready.
You good to go?
I know.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. So.
Ready, set, go.
Right. So, last week I forget who actually said, "Can we do a botanical or a painting?" And I said, "Yeah, of course we can." So we're going to do a close-up of a flower. I mean, obviously, if you look at this, that's the, I don't know, what do they call them? The stem or the stamen or whatever they call it, that bit round there.
Yeah.
Then you've got your flower spanning out in different directions.
Is that like the pollen bit?
Yeah, it's where the little seeds and in this case, it's not yellow, but generally that's a dark area, and these are bits of yellow or various other different colours. It's not in this, but and you've got your leaves sprigging out. Now, because we're so close and tightly focused, it's got a very narrow depth of field. So these background leaves here are going to be very fuzzed out. That's going to be very sharply focused. And again, the foreground will slowly but surely fade out because it's only got a very, very, very thin depth of field. So we're going to try and get that today if we possibly can. And it's going to be a very limited palette because it's just basically like a purpley colour.
Yeah, I like the size of it as well. I like the size of the flower, big scale. I
mean, I would imagine it's probably no bigger than that. The flower in total, but somebody's gone in and done what's called a macro photo of it.
Yeah.
I assume light is coming from this direction.
Yeah.
So this side's going to be light and that side's going to be dark.
Yeah.
Paper-wise, I'm experimenting with Jackson's some of their paper. They have a company that makes paper for them called Two Rivers.
Right.
And they make handmade paper, and this is some of it. So I'm experimenting with it. It's 300 grams, and for our American friends, that's £140.
Yeah.
It's slightly. I would say it's on the rough end of.
I was going to say it looks kind of a rough texture.
It doesn't say anything on the package what it is. I've got to do a bit more research on it and see if I can figure it out. But it looks to me like it's a rough paper, which is fine because we want texture in us. There's not much to the painting at all. I mean, the drawing was so simple. I just penciled it on. So I'm going to get myself set up with regards being able to see me reference image.
Yeah. What do you do? Do you print off your images or do you have them on the screen?
Sometimes I do. If I'm wanting to transfer it onto the paper, I print it off and then project it onto the paper. But this was such a simple drawing that
I like it.
You know what? I thought, blow it, I'm just going to draw it directly. There is no, with flowers, there is no getting it wrong because, you know, they're an organic thing. They can go in all sorts of different directions.
This is it.
So, right. So what we're going to use today, I've got these out. Whether I use them, I don't know.
Same with me.
I've got me ever faithful bionic brush. That's what we call it now. If you remember, it broke and we mended it. We have the capacity to mend it. So that's for filling in large areas.
Wow, that's a big brush.
And when we want to scale it down a little bit, similar kind of brush, a quill. But this one's got a bit more control to it, and that's a Jackson's brush, a quill number 0 in their S777 series. I might use these, I might not.
Oh, I like those. They're cool brushes.
They are brushes that have got a bit of raking in them. Now, whether I do use, I don't know. I'll see how I feel in certain areas. And one other brush, if I can find it, I might use that is a rake. My specially modified one. Woohoo! That I modified. modify brush.
That is a cool
I
brush.
might use that, but then again, I might not. It all depends how I feel at the time, at the moment. So, what I'm going to do to start off with, right? I'm going to. It's a mauvey lavender kind of flower, very very lavender coloured, right? But just to kick it off to a great start, before I do anything like that, I'm gonna get me paper quite wet and put yellow in.
That can be quite.
I am.
Sorry.
I'm making sure that I'm not getting that area wet.
Yeah. Is like purple a kind of tricky colour to get in watercolor, or
is what a tricky colour?
You know, like a purple, or
it can be, because unfortunately, although it's a really nice colour, especially the pastels, very rare that you find a light fast colour that's that is a purpley colour. These light ones. So what I do is I get a blue, and I've got some, as you well know, I have a little bit of gouache, and I add a little bit of that to it, and it kind of like tones it down a bit.
Yeah.
It gives it a much lighter feel.
Like a pastel kind of.
Yeah, it pastelizes it, which is, to be frank, that's what flowers really are. They're very pastel. They've got a bit of a glaze of a gloss on them, but more often than not, the you know, the thing that really comes out and steps out to me is the fact that they're quite pastel in their expression.
Well, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So wait. So in the past, you had said florals are your most difficult to paint, but today you just said like no, flowers are pretty easy because they can go.
Flowers. Yes, they are hard to paint to get that soft. You know, that realistic soft feel that you get from a flower. It's very delicate.
Yeah.
And to get that delicateness, it's incredibly hard, right? But to draw this picture to today, dead easy. It was just like whoop, 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 and then that were it. I mean, literally 5 minutes. So I'm now going to add a pinky colour to that in that area, and I'm going to wear it. It's a bit too much, I think.
Well, that reminds me of Georgia O'Keeffe, the close up of the flowers.
I don't know that, to be honest with you, but
okay.
Yeah, they're basically it's a photo that somebody's took that's incredibly close up. What they call macro photography.
That was it.
If you've ever come across that, that's what it's called, macro photography, where they go really, really, really close. So all I want this for is an afterglow of, like, if you look at mauve or lilac, it's got that soft pastel-y blue in it, but it has an undertone of a very light purpley red.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to encourage that to do. So
Yeah, there are a couple of watercolor sets by Prima, and I believe that they do a pastel color.
Yeah.
I think that's Prima.
Although I think problem is with that is that they're just chalky paints.
Yeah, I
I
didn't actually.
they've got too much chalk in them.
Yeah, I wasn't particularly overly. I didn't buy another set, put it that way.
I mean, if you're wanting to paint very pastel like this anyway, and that's what you're wanting to move towards,
Yeah.
You're best off going and getting more involved in gouache.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Or acrylic.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say acrylic because acrylic because it's a plastic, it ends up having a very artificial gloss over it. Now you can get acrylic gouache, which is a gouache that's matte. You could use that and be quite successful in doing very soft pastel stuff.
Yeah.
But normal acrylic, even professional acrylic, has a semi-glossy finish, or it should have. So I'm going to be quite dry brush here in this area. I'm going to encourage dryness.
Will you be like doing any veining details? Or?
Do you know what? I don't think it. No, because problem is once you start putting veins in, you start having to do it everywhere, and then you lose that spontaneity.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, you're right. That's true.
And
you can go a bit carried away.
Yeah, that's why I said flowers are one of the hardest things to do, because it's so easy to just overdo it.
Yeah. Yep.
You start putting too much veining in and detail into something, and it stops being a spontaneous, a natural organic thing, and it starts becoming a detailed painting, and it just don't look right. I might put some. The only place I'm going to put detailing in is there, and bits around there.
Yeah.
But the rest of the painting, go on.
Well, a scientific illustration, like botanical illustration, wouldn't you say that would have tons of detail in it?
Yeah, that's done so that you can identify things, isn't it?
Right.
A scientific botanical painting is it's this is what you would call expressive painting.
Right. Okay.
Right. Botanical. I wouldn't even call it painting. I'd call it more illustration.
Yeah.
It's a field in its own right. Don't get me wrong, it's an art. Being able to paint something accurately and make it depict what it looks like. Botanical painting of flowers, before they had proper photography and that, were very popular for scientists because they could look at it and go, "Oh, it's that species." It served as, it was the closest they could get at the time to photorealism.
Yeah.
And anybody who could do that were paid very well.
Yeah.
So that group of paintings, that style, is definitely something that has detail in it.
Yeah.
But we're not necessarily going for that particular field today.
It's more like, an expression kind of. Am I right with the same expression? In this one?
In this one, yeah, it's an expressive painting, really.
That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, expression.
Don't mean to say that you can't put detail. It's just that you've got to be like careful what you do with.
You can overwork something.
Yeah, and flowers are a classic example of something that can be overworked in a blink of an eye.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I find flowers incredibly demanding.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've got to get that balance between it being like a soft, flowing, watery colour kind of thing, and having all those attributes of it being delicate, which watercolor can do that really easily. It's one of the easiest mediums you can use to do delicate is watercolor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, watercolor is a transparent medium. So for that sort of paper, like petal can be very papery in texture. So the transparency of the watercolors would suit that rather well. Am I saying that?
One of the reasons why I've chosen this paper is because its bumpiness will help with that texture later in the painting.
Yeah. Oh, I like that colour.
It's like a mauve, a very dark mauve.
Yeah.
We have some new people in the chat. JCT and Sleeve Stack Rule.
Oh,
hello, Sleeve. Hello,
number one fan here.
Aye.
Ian's number one fan, Sleeve. Hello.
See, one of my strategies here today is if I want to give it that idea of like it having crinkles and texture,
yeah.
I'm going to use the dry of the brush to create. Can you see in areas like that where it's hit and missed?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what I want it to do.
That's the word I was looking for earlier. What you just said. Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of that now around there and let that light feather out a bit. Yeah. And it's leaving areas like that as it is that gives it that sense of softness.
Yeah.
Because you might be slightly thinking, oh, I've got to get everything all painted, and this is one of those paintings where the more you leave it not over painted, the better the painting will be.
Yeah. Yeah. Because sometimes less is more, isn't it? I've heard people say that.
It is with delicate flowers, yeah. But hey, listen, guys, I'm no world expert on flowers. This is my arch nemesis.
Yeah.
If you want to call it that.
Everybody, he's painting his arch nemesis today. Flowers.
Darn you, flowers.
It's not that I don't like flower paintings. I do. It's just that I'm not very good at it. So.
Don't tell me what. You're perfectly fine. You're perfectly capable of painting a flower.
Yeah, but when I look at other artists who paint flowers, right, and they can get that softness absolutely spot on every time. It's like they only need to do one or two brush strokes, and it's like, oh, wow, that looks so good. It does, honestly. It's annoying.
Oh, Grayscale Painting says, I'm sure Ian can handle it.
That's what I just
Oh,
said.
at the end of the day, just because I'm not particularly good at a particular piece of artwork, right? Don't mean to say that I've got to shy away from it. You got to have a go at things, and that's the only way that you actually progress. I'm not going to progress forward in this as fast as I am in things that I do a lot more of.
Well, it was like me the other day when Pickerick came up with the inspiration for me to paint New York City skyline. I mean, that is completely out of my comfort zone, and I thought I was going to have a heart attack a couple of strokes over this painting, and I'm really glad that I stuck with it because I surprised myself by the end of the live stream when I painted it, and it ended up looking more like fantasy art.
Well, that's what I said. Do you know what you need to do with that painting is get a magazine, cut out some abstract bits of things and stick it on it, and then do some more painting over it and turn it into something like that. No, I mean,
Did you know that Grayscale Painting almost specializes in florals?
Yes, I did.
Yes, I think I've seen him do quite a few florals.
I think I have to ask him again right now, but I think he considers that his specialty.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, some people have got that knack of getting that softness, and I mean, I'm really heavy handed because normally I'm quite woof, and I do a mountain and it's with a great big brush about this big, and woof, that's my mountain done. I mean, I'm not subtle.
Well, on the other hand, he's painting acrylic. You're painting watercolor. He's painting acrylic. Watercolor painting florals and watercolor, I think, is different than painting acrylics and painting florals and acrylic.
I mean, I've had a limited amount of experience with acrylics, and I find that painting delicate stuff in acrylics almost impossible.
Yeah, because it's so heavy, isn't it? It's a really it's like painting with toothpaste almost in consistency, perhaps.
Somebody was saying the other day about the battle that you have. Dan's what they call him. He comes on every day and he does normal scenes, and then he like mixed medias everything, and then turns it into something completely different.
Yeah.
And really good artist, but he was saying it's that battle that you have between soft and hard lines that either makes or breaks an acrylic painting.
Yeah. Hello, everybody in the chat. Have I said hello to everybody? Hello, Grayscale, JCT, and Steve's.
A little bit.
Have I missed anybody?
And Reckington just joined us. Hello, Reckington.
Oh, hello, Reckington.
Hello.
And Grayscale says, actually, others made it his specialty. He goes, I'm the best at florals. It's just I put a lot of effort into it.
Well, you have to, because it's a really hard subject. If you're absolutely brand new to art, it wouldn't be my recommendation for your first painting. But I'd be interested to know what people's first paintings were and what their assessment of their paintings are. What were their first painting that they ever did?
Yeah. Everybody, what was your first, the artists or even other people? Well, are you talking even back to elementary school?
Well, I mean, ones that's within reasonable knowledge of, like, oh yeah, I remember doing that, and I remember the emotions that I went through. I mean, we all did stickmen at school, didn't we?
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm on about in his adult life.
Adult life.
some of us have got the advantage of, you know, painting since, you know, we were kids.
Yeah, so I have memories back to, my memories, most of my memories of art class go back to middle school. I just only have a couple memories from elementary school, but it's middle school and then high school. So what have you guys painted? What was the first things you guys painted?
Guess what I'm painting? Guess what I'm painting next week, Ian?
I think you've told us, haven't you?
I'm painting Big Ben next week.
Well, it's a good job you're painting it because nobody can see it at the moment, can they?
I know. We've heard Pickerick's chat and Sleaze will know because I think Sleaze was there. We were like, let's vote in chat. What am I painting next week? And it was a Big Ben.
Big Ben. You know, just confuse everybody. Just paint a bell. Just paint a bell.
Yeah.
You know, Big Ben. It's not that big clock. You know that clock that everybody thinks is Big Ben. That's not Big Ben.
Oh, okay.
That is not Big Ben. Believe it or not.
Oh my goodness. I'm guessing that Big Ben will be slightly easier to draw than the New York City skyline. I'm guessing, but
well, it's an oblong,
yeah,
right, and then a square on top of it, and then a triangle.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then in that square, you put a circle.
Yeah.
I've done it loads of times.
We have some answers in the chat.
All right, great. Go on, you're the host.
My memory of the first painting I did on a canvas panel was in middle school, and I was very influenced by Salvador Dali that I painted something surrealistic, like a surrealistic landscape.
And what is your assessment of that piece of artwork, if you've got an assessment? What did you feel? Did you feel that you bit off more than you could chew?
Oh yes, more than I could chew. And if I look back, I mean, I don't have a copy. I don't have that anymore. I do have some early artwork, but I don't think I have that one anymore. But of course, it doesn't approach to anything close to Salvador Dali.
Well, very few surrealists do. There's lots of surrealists. I mean, you think of Salvador Dali as a surrealist, but he was just one member of a movement.
But he was like the leader almost.
No. It didn't even invent surrealism.
Right.
He joined as part of a group actually, and he attached himself to it because he left a contemporary university degree that he were doing because he just didn't get on with the way that they were teaching art. So he bombed out of university, and he attached himself to a group of people who were calling themselves the Surrealists. And a lot of those were people who were into photography more than painting.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Excuse me, sniffling. Oh.
Well, Sleestack has a very funny, I mean, well, unusual comment. He says, I line up all the artist videos before I sleep. Then I sleep and have nightmares while they play. I will not put the blame on any artist.
Oh, well, thank you, Sleaze. That's very...
Well, there you go.
There you go, Sleaze.
Oh, grayscale painting. He said the first painting he did was mountain and lake scene in oils.
Wow, grayscale.
Oils. I've got to say, I think one of the first paintings I ever did, it were a bird of prey.
Really?
In oils. Yeah. What the one that I can actually remember, I'm sure I did paintings other than that, but
Goswina said it was an abstract painting for her.
Well, wow. I mean, that's a real issue to.
Yeah.
Does she actually mean actually being there and painting it, or painting something that is from a photo?
I don't know. Answer that question, Goswina.
You have to answer that one, Goswina. Tell us what you mean by the urban abstract. I know what an urban abstract is, but were it something you did on plein air? And for those of you who are uninitiated, that means outdoor painting.
Yeah.
It sounds like she says it was something inspired from something she saw on YouTube.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So it was from an image.
Okay, then she says actually the first thing was a drawing, and I think she's saying Zentangle. Then I paint was abstract. Now for 5 months I paint everything.
Well, that's a good thing, isn't it? Well, I mean, take this into account. Virtually everything we do in art is an abstraction.
Mm-hmm.
A guy we're talking about abstract, right? We learn to paint things as we see them, right? And you can learn that process, but learning abstraction is a lifelong process because there's no end thing about it, if you know what I mean. Abstraction is abstraction.
I agree. Yeah.
It doesn't have that, oh, I've got to that pinnacle. So you can work at abstraction forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Vermont Paint and Photo just joined us. Hello, Bruce. And he says, oh, heck, that's my life, abstract.
Hello, Bruce.
Sometimes we do have abstract lives.
Yeah.
If you think about it, as we are abstract, aren't we?
Yeah. I mean, would you say that my New York City painting, would you say that was slightly abstract? Or
right, we've all got the capacity to zoom in on a certain section of our lives and live our lives through that view.
Yeah.
But then again, we've all got the ability to pull back and look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And see things for what it is as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we are a bit abstract.
Yeah.
And looking at areas that we wouldn't normally look at. And I think that's probably the difference between artists and normal everyday people. I think we tend to dwell more on the viewing in on a more focused level, abstract, than the general overview that most people have. Don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd be interested to see hear what people have to say on that theory.
Oh, Goswina says that she says to Gracie, her New York City painting is more surrealistic. That's what she thinks.
Yeah. No, that sounds good. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What was your question, everybody?
Oh, just saying. I just wondered what I've just been saying with regards are people who are artistically inclined, are they more focused in on the type, abstract way of looking at things, or are they more like people in general who just look at life in a global kind of a way? Do artists differ from people in that sense?
I think we probably do, don't we? I mean, I don't know, really.
in the way we perceive things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there is a slight difference. In saying that, after last week, what we were talking about with creatives and things like that, I don't just mean artists. I mean people who are creatives, people who either work in the creative field of in some way, or are creative in the nature.
Yeah. I like that those stroking movements in the petals. They're really cool.
Well, you see, you can build those, those little strokey bits that you're on about, by building them up. You don't have to like be doing every individual line and
this is the thing. Yeah.
Just slowly but surely, steadily build things up.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying using this paper, by the way, guys.
It looks really good paper. Jackson's. I'll have to have a look at that.
Well, it's Jackson's who've commissioned them to make the paper, but it's this particular company.
It looks durable.
It's. I mean, this is only 300 grams.
Yeah.
And it's rock solid.
It is. I was just thinking that. I was thinking it's not buckling or.
No.
Yeah.
So
all I have to remember for next week is what Ian said. It's a rectangle with the triangle and then a circle for Big Ben. There you go. That's all I have to remember.
That's it. It's as simple as that.
Oh, cool.
Well, you know what? That's what I'd teach anybody who's wanting to learn how to draw anything.
Yeah.
Look for the basic shapes. Don't try drawing things universally, because I'll just show you something that I've been working on. And if I tried drawing it as a whole, without breaking it down into small pieces, I would not have a chance at all to be able to get it right. Well.
Oh, cool.
It's a motorbike.
Yeah.
If I tried drawing that as a complicated drawing, no way. You have to find the small areas that you can deal with and make sure that you're doing them to the right size.
Yeah.
And then if you've done it right, you know you've done it right, because they all slowly but surely bolt together.
Yeah, that's really
so you can do complicated things by using uncomplicated objects.
Yeah, and breaking it down into.
Yeah, it's about breaking it down and seeing.
I call that abstract thinking. You're breaking it down.
It is
into the shapes, and that's abstract thinking.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. You're creating for yourself. I mean, I could, in this painting, I could concentrate on that as an abstract, and focus my attention on that bit. But that's what abstract is. Just taking a section of something and concentrating on it.
That does look very cool paper. It's not.
It's very responsive. I've got to say, the only thing I've got against it is it's like one of the most expensive papers I've ever bought.
Oh.
So if I were going to use this, generally speaking, it would have to be for commissioned work only.
Yeah, this is the thing with me. Sorry,
But because I'm learning how to use it and seeing whether it's the type of paper I want to use or not, before I commit myself to a £500 bill.
Yeah.
I'm going to test it out on
Yeah.
a few sheets. That's the way it is.
And that's the way,
I'm always like you know, you're talking about veins and things. I'm very, very lightly. I don't know if I've got enough paint on there.
Oh, I can see that, yeah. Oh, I see you just going in.
I'm honestly not deliberately doing any particular vein. I'm just very, very, very lightly.
Well, yeah, because they're like a lot of petals. What would you say, papery in texture?
Yeah, they are. They're very subtle. And what you've got to be careful of when you're doing paintings is not losing losing that subtleness of the painting, which I think I'm doing now. So I'm going
to. We have a comment from Goswina. She wants to tell you. She said,
yeah.
"Can you tell Ian and myself after I have finished my photo vote painting, I will try the skyline of Rotterdam, the town where I live."
Oh yeah, that's nice. Hey, Rotterdam's got some lovely places to paint.
Cool. Excuse me, yeah. I haven't got a cold. Oh,
you're not. Oh yeah. I don't know whether to make this the rant of the week, right?
Oh
no. Let me just take a bit of a break for a minute. So,
what about the coronavirus?
Well, it's semi-connected to it, right? I know last few weeks.
Okay, announcement. This is a rant. Okay, he's gonna stop painting for a minute. Here's the rant of the week by Ian.
Right.
Especially for Steve.
Imagine you're on a bus full of people, right? And you've just been shopping, like I had the other day into town. And I put a sweet in my mouth, and it was so sweet that a bit of saliva juice, like, went down my throat, and went down wrong hole into my windpipe. And I started coughing uncontrollably, as you do sometimes, right? And everybody on bus turned around and looked at me as if I was with a disease spreader. And not one person said, "Are you all right? Are you joking?" Joking!
Would you like a Kleenex tissue?
Not one person. Said, what? Is that what this world's getting to? You know, somebody could have died there.
Anybody
I had a little sign on me head, virus-free since January. What do you think about that, guys? Am I wrong?
I'm saying when you're coughing, you're not in danger of choking. It's when you don't breathe at all. It's when you don't breathe at all and you're silent that's when choking is really happening.
That's it. At the end of the day, I was like, I was doing that, and everybody thought I was like turning into some sort of zombie apocalypse thing. No, come and help me. I'm
everybody's looking at you like they're scared. What are you doing? You're coughing, and now we're scared that you have some infection. They're scared for themselves instead of being polite.
It was my fault because I mentioned the word sniffle.
Your fault.
Yeah, it's my fault. Sorry. What's the world coming to?
What do we think, guys? Is it starting to look like a flower?
Yes. And you need to look up Georgia O'Keeffe. That looks like a Georgia O'Keeffe flower.
Yeah, it does.
I'll look that up because I'm always interested in finding people who can do flowers.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna instant message you her name so you can spell it right.
Because I sent you some links.
Yes, I got them. She paints very lovely faces. Thank you for sending them.
Yeah, she was one of the pioneers of that style of painting
Oh, okay.
in early 1920s.
And thank you for the Society of All Artists video that you sent me the other day. That was really good.
Oh yes, there's in May, if they don't call it Ockos or Ebola virus or whatever it's called. I know. I mean, we would be panicking if it were that, wouldn't we? Flipping heck.
Yes, because it's not.
2 weeks and you're dead.
Yeah.
I mean, flipping heck.
No.
I mean, granted, it has killed a lot of people. This, but
80% of the people show very little symptoms. So it must be immune compromised people that are the ones dying. 80% of the people show little symptoms.
Oh, it's all right. I'll be dead within the week then, because I've got little or zero immune system. Why keep away from all you bug carriers?
Oh boy. Not one person helped you, Ian.
Not one person.
That's just wrong.
Hey, would it have been quite strange if I did like if I were on bus, right? They think I've got that virus, and I go onto the floor and I choke, and I'm on the floor like, you know, I'm dead. And they go, is that how quickly it kills you?
Yeah.
They'd be really panicking. Wouldn't they be like running off at bus?
Oh.
I think we need to, especially in Australia. I think we need to.
Oh my goodness.
Be a bit more moderate about it and calm down it, because if it follows the trend that's happened in Australia, there's like 3 people got it in Australia, and they've gone into all supermarkets, everybody, and sold out all toilet paper.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, what's that going to do? Is that going to save you?
You know what that's for. It's very important. If you don't have it, you have very uncomfortable life.
No. I have several rolls of toilet paper. That's more than enough. Not an entire aisle of. Honestly, there were people buying like carts full of them.
Exactly. We stocked up on it big time.
Oh, you toilet sanitation person. I don't know. No wonder why it cost 10 times more to purchase a toilet roll this week than what it normally does. Because blame it all on Diane, because she's stocked up on it.
Blame it all on me, because why? I stocked up on it. I watched it. The first time I ever even was aware of this was just about last week, and I watched a woman in Hong Kong. She's a YouTuber, and she's showing her life in Hong Kong, where they all are wearing the masks all in public, and she's showing the store shelves, and she goes, and all the canned food, see, it's all gone. She goes, frozen section, there's still food in there. Oh, over here, see, all the toilet paper's gone.
Well, it would be better. It would be better for people to get the frozen food. And I know canned food does last a long time, but so does frozen food. Once it's frozen, if it's kept frozen, you can have it in a fridge for years.
Yeah.
Guess what? We got astronaut food that will last for 50 years.
I know, but it tastes like
it. Freeze-dried food. I'm going to try some. I'm going to see if it is so bad or not.
Tastes like your tongue's being slapped by
I'm going to check it out.
A baby seal.
We'll see.
Oh, you're kidding me. Oh my goodness.
And you know, I mean, getting back onto artwork, because this is what we're here for. I know we do like a lap on this show, We do like
Yeah,
them
let's
colour.
get back to the art.
And, I'm making steady progress. And in certain areas, I'm starting to bring up some nice, vibrant, strong colours. Although I do feel I've slightly overdone that.
Okay, we have some compliments of people of your flower now. Okay, Grayscale Painting says that is a superb flower. I've never did a close-up floral. He's never did a close-up floral before.
Oh, yeah, I absolutely expect you to do one within the week then, Anthony.
Yeah.
Saying that, I've got to say, in acrylics,
Yes, in acrylic,
you're going to
grayscale,
have a nice
acrylic.
job
Yeah.
because it's not best suited to
acrylic.
Macro close-up stuff.
Oh, that was it. Sorry, yeah, macro.
And Mystic Unigon says that's beautiful.
It is. It's, wow.
You've always got to remember with watercolors that it's specifically suited towards very, very light applications of paint.
Yeah.
That's that, and layers. Layers after. You can't overdo layers, yeah. But the more layers you can get on within a reasonable amount of layering, the better.
Yeah.
Well, Sleevestack Rule has a comment. He says, wow, I think a painting of the DNA of the coronavirus would sell really good.
Do you know what? There are people who actually paint. You know, like not necessarily viruses, but you know, things at a microscopic level.
Yes.
I know what you mean.
And sometimes they do though. They're actually quite. I know it's one of the most deadliest things on the planet, but it is quite a beautiful thing to look at.
What's beautiful to look at?
The close up. It's like a little ball with little sticky things coming out of it.
Sorry.
Not that I've got any particular bias towards it or anything.
I know what you mean, Ian.
Yeah. I mean, one of the most the thing that kills the most people on the planet the other day, there were one in a city centre, and guess what it is?
Oh, I couldn't guess. Tell me.
An hippopotamus. It just wandered. Honestly, it wandered into a city. It just probably got lost and thought, you know, I'm going into town. And
Sorry,
sometimes. Come on, keep it together. Come on. You can do it. You can do it.
It was you that mentioned hippopotamus, not me.
Well, I'm trying to tell a story here.
Sorry.
And you're not being serious at all. So anyway, this hippopotamus, it was running around town, and how they're gonna get rid of this hippopotamus? Because to be frank, you're not gonna just like push it out of town, are you? So they just let it wander around. They followed it all day until it decided it had done its shopping, whatever it needed. It couldn't find that game that it wanted, Hungry Hippo. So
it couldn't find the brand of it couldn't find the brand of toilet roll that it liked.
No, we're trying to look for. It was trying to look for some masks for protecting its family from coronavirus, weren't it?
Yeah, we have some breaking bad news.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm breaking.
But Mark Bennett just came in here. Oh, hi, Be the Difference Clothing. I'll talk. Thank you so much for joining us. But we have breaking bad news from Mark Bennett.
Oh.
He says that Bobby McNutt told him he's really not feeling well and he's going to shut down his channel.
Oh no! Bobby, don't do it.
not feeling well, generally speaking. I know he's not been well. He said a few weeks ago that he's not been well, didn't he?
I don't remember him. No, I didn't know that because I only go to his live stream sometimes, so I've never heard him say he's not feeling well.
Yeah, he did a live stream the other day.
He doesn't have to shut his live stream down. I just go away and have a break for a bit.
Yeah.
Thing is, I think we do ourselves a disservice. Sometimes we have to have a break.
Mark Bennett just said he thinks he might have had a possible heart attack.
Well, well, I mean, at the end of the day, if that's the case, then obviously he needs to make sure what it is that the issue is, and get some sort of proper care package put in place, because you don't want to be overstressing yourself if you've had an issue like that.
Yeah. Oh,
Bobby.
And he was in the hospital. Sleepsack Rule says Bobby was in the hospital.
Yeah, he was in the hospital. Yeah.
Is he still there?
No, he's back home now. He did a live stream the other day, and Sherry went on panel, and he's basically been telling people that he's leaving because of all the swatting that had been going on. There's a list of about 60 people that have been swatted, and he feels as if it's his fault because of the whole. And I was like, I kept telling him, I kept saying, Bobby, it's not your fault. Don't give up, you know.
Wait, it's unless you're deliberately giving people's personal details to idiots who do that kind of thing, then no, it's not anybody's particular fault.
No, he was actually challenging them because he wanted them to come to him so that his friends wouldn't be bothered, and he was actually challenging them. Even he didn't care they knew his address. He said, come on. He was actually challenging girls to come.
They don't do that though. As far as I know, they don't actually get in contact with you. All they do is they get hold of your information and then call the police up and say, oh, there's a murder going off. Now, police, there ought to be a protocol in place by now.
I know YouTube is ridiculous.
How long has this been going off? This kind of stuff.
Because unless somebody dies or gets seriously injured, or probably even has to be dead, that they're not going to take it seriously. But here's some more information. Mystic Unigon says it's stress from the swatting and trolls, and Mark Bennett says yes, that's what he said. And Mark Bennett says he blames himself, and he said he's sorry, but he had to get the information out.
Oh, I think I was pretty spot on there with my bit of information.
Yes, that's a lot of it. Lucy, that was a lot of information. You knew that from the last stream.
And Bobby said there were about 60 people on a list that had been swatted. And I mean, I kept telling Bobby, I kept saying, it's not your fault, dude. Just because you're friends with these people that have been swatted, it's nobody's fault other than the trolls that are going around doing all this disgusting. Disgusting.
The police and the authorities have got tools that they can use to find out who are doing these phone calls. When they get older,
it's the FBI that has to get involved. Local police do not have the tools for that. It's FBI.
I'm not talking about how the authority structure is. When I say police, I mean the authorities. Right?
Yeah.
They have the tools to be able to stop this.
Yeah, of course.
Are they doing it?
Absolutely.
I guess they don't want to. They're not going to willing to stop it unless it got to the point where somebody died.
Well, this is the thing that scares me. I mean, thank God that in me and Ian's country, thank God we don't have that yet. Touch wood, without jinxing it. But I know that most of my YouTube friends have been swatted. Diana's been swatted.
It won't happen in the UK anyway, because you know, if it's an emergency and somebody is, no police officer is going to come to an house without having some
Something
absolute knowledge
yeah.
of what is going off.
Yeah.
And if it were a danger situation, they'd say, get out of the house, get somewhere public, get to somewhere where...
Get you out of danger.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think it's... I think it's only ever going to stop, or only ever going to be tried to be prevented, as if, unfortunately, and it's an awful thing to say, but until somebody gets killed.
Well,
yeah.
And there's other YouTubers. It's really happened a lot. Green Bay Packy, he's been swatted many times, and he said he's had 600 death threats. Bobby's had many death threats also. Then there's Cab 7, who's also has been swatted many times.
Really?
There's a difference between a death threat on internet and a death threat when somebody stands directly in front of you and says, I'm going to kill you if you don't shut the... Right. And believe me, I've been in front of that real situation and I still stood my ground. So, and they didn't kill me. So anybody who tries... anybody who tries...
that sounded like a punchline then, Ian.
It was a punch in his face, and he ended up in hospital.
But,
you know, there's a lot of people who are clever, and I think they're hard, and they're even harder when they're in front of a computer. What do they call them? Keyboard warriors.
See, this is what Gracie's been saying for the past many years I've been here on YouTube. It's the anonymity of hiding behind the computer. It makes them feel better than anybody else, and that's why it's like it's almost like they feel empowered without being like over the top about it. But they do. They sit behind the computer. I mean, we all do to a certain degree. Everybody hides to a certain degree.
Me personally, I tend to speak my word.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a Yorkshireman. Come on. Yeah. I say what I feel, and if you don't like it, F off.
That's the way to be, though.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But Bobby, if you're listening, I don't know if you're listening, but there's a lot of people that care about you, and we want you to be safe. We all think you're great, so do what you have to do. But
at the end of the day, the outside influence is a nothing, but what's most important is that your health is maintained. So if you need to break away from it, then by all means do it.
Yeah, I think
don't shut down, because that's the idiots who've won.
Well, that's what I said to him. I sent him an email. I said, Bobby, I said it a bit more diplomatically, in the sense that I said, don't let them win, because you're a far better person than any of those people that are trolling. I mean, Bobby's really entertaining, and he's got a really good channel. And I've met some really, really cool people through being friends with Bobby. You know, I met Diana and Rick, and there's all these good people. And it's such a shame that if Bobby decides to shut down, maybe just take a break, have a year off, even, you know.
Yeah.
Even PewDiePie took a month's break.
Yeah.
He's been on for 10 years. We are having a break every day. Yeah. Yeah. Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat, Bobby. There you go. That's what the doctor always has.
I don't know what that means. I don't know. They may do. I don't know. do they have Kit Kats in USA?
They do. I think they have them in Aldi's in America.
All right.
Yeah.
I think they have their own brand of it, don't they?
Yeah, I think they probably have their own brand.
Their own, you know, I don't know, their own companies that actually make Kit Kats. Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Have a break. Do you remember Club Biscuits, Ian?
I've got some in cupboard.
Oh, I love those. They're delicious.
Extra thick chocolate on top.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and the orange ones. I like the orange ones. The orangey chocolatey ones. Oh.
Yeah, I do like the orange chocolate ones. They are quite nice.
Do you remember the advert for it? If you like a lot of chocolate on your biscuit, join our club.
On your biscuit, join our club. No infringement of copyright whatsoever in that.
No.
None whatsoever.
No.
We won't need to. Diana won't need to worry about whether she's going to leave YouTube or not, because she'll get banned for all these copyright infringements.
I know.
What copyright? What are you talking about?
Are you listening to us?
I guess I'm reading the comments. I'm commenting to people.
All right.
You're talking about the Kit Kat and singing in the commercial?
Yeah.
So she was paying attention.
No, it's part of social culture, so it can't be. It can't be. It's not as though anybody makes any money on that advert, musically speaking. If you know what I mean, it's part of social culture, so they could never do that.
Here's a good thing. Do you remember back in the day, back in 1802?
No.
Do you remember PG Tips advert with the what did they have? Yeah, they were really good adverts back then.
They were. Do you know my all-time favorite monkeys? My all-time favorite adverts. Sorry, were the ones for that dried potato bar mash get smashed. Do you remember them robots?
Yeah.
I don't know whether they had them in America, but look it up because it was so funny.
Yeah, we're not making it up, guys. We're not making it up. It's true.
They had these robots, right? And they used to make like mashed potato.
Yeah.
But what was it called? Smash. It's called Smash.
Yeah, Smash.
Potatoes.
Yeah.
And it was dried potato.
Mashed potatoes, right?
Yeah. Really funny. Look them up.
Oh yeah, I have smashed potatoes. No, I've had them at a restaurant. I've had them smashed potatoes.
And really funny. Honestly, every few weeks it'd come out with a new advert.
Oh,
these robots, they were really.
I've got another fun one. Do you remember the shake and vac?
That
was the best advert for a long time. Oh.
So now I've got the soft fluffiness into the painting. What time are we on?
Oh, yeah, let's get back to
we might be finished early today. I'm going to have bits of.
So, Bobby, if you're watching, please don't give up. Please don't give up. Take a break. Your health's more important than anything.
I would absolutely say make sure that you have enough of a time off to recuperate. Jack can speak English. Recuperate.
Yeah, because heart attacks can be very, very. You can get very depressed.
I mean, it may be that he hasn't. It's probably might have been just a murmur, but
maybe
that tells me that his body's telling him to
calm down, slow down. Yeah.
So
if you're listening, Bobby, we're all here for you. Okay. There you go. Yeah, I don't know.
So has anybody got any questions with regards to this painter?
Oh, somebody asked if it's a water lily.
Personally, I don't know what it is because it's such a close-up image. It could very well be, but it's purple. So if water lilies have a purple version, then quite possibly.
Yeah.
So it's just a generic flower?
It's a close-up of a flower. As far as I know what it is. And you're not talking to one of the great botanical people of all time. It asked me what a flower is, and it's something that you bury under concrete. Do you get that?
No. Grayscale says it's a. Well, maybe he's making it. He says it's a corona lily.
It's a corona lily. Yeah, that's what we're going to call it. In fact, I'm actually when I put it up, I'm gonna call it the Corona Lily.
There you go. Well done, Grayscale.
Ironically enough, that bit there, although it's not that colour, does actually look like a coronavirus.
Oh, there you go.
I wonder where it's come from, man. Who's been patting monkeys or something like that for it to transfer? Oh, it's not a rant of the week. It's a sad moment of the week. This.
It's a very sad moment, guys.
It's a sad moment of the week. This.
If we need to borrow any tissues, we'll just ask Diana.
Well, yeah, that's it. That's Diana's way of like ruling world. She's bought all face masks. She's got them all. And she's also got all toilet rolls. So when we run out, we're gonna have to like storm her house. Swattle will be coming to storm her.
No. Luckily, you guys live far away.
Hey?
I'm sorry. Luckily, you guys live far away. You won't be able to storm my house.
Hey, listen, if I need to go to the toilet and there's no toilet paper, I will go to the ends of the earth.
Guys, I'm going to have to go, but it's been...
Yeah, thank you for staying longer than you thought you could.
It's always a pleasure,
Tracy.
never a chore. That's what they say. Always a pleasure, never a chore.
Tracy.
You're very welcome. That's beautiful.
All right,
wow.
Is anybody else who wants to come on and
entertain me?
Goshwina has another name for the lily. She calls it. She says it could be. You could call it an Ian lily.
Yeah. The Ian lily.
I don't know. I'm more than sure it's got a name actually, but it's just that I'm too idle to actually go and look it up.
Yeah. Well, I shall speak to you soon. Thank you for having me on, Diana.
Okay, you're welcome, and thank you for staying as long as you did.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye-bye, everybody in the chat, and bye-bye, Mr. Jackson. Bye.
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 Oh my. Mystic says Corona Beer Company is offering $15 to anyone who can get the name changed to Bud Light Virus.
Bud Light. Yeah, it's not doing them any good, is it, really, that Corona? I bet there's a lot of companies called Corona as well because it's a natural phenomenon, isn't it? You know, the corona of the sun.
Yeah.
So I can imagine there's a lot of companies going, oh no, this is not good for our no, there's nothing wrong with the word. It's just that the virus, right? In a few months' time, when some boffin comes out with some jab that you can have that turns us all into zombie apocalypse or whatever, because that's probably what's going to end up happening. The thing that cures us will probably turn us into rampant zombies.
Yeah, possibly. Goshwina says, yeah, take care, Kate and Gracie. I mean, she sent you and Gracie pictures of the skyline of Rotterdam.
Great. Well, if you can find us a really nice one, maybe that might be next week's painting, Goshwina.
Oh.
Because it's about time I did a Rotterdam painting. I've done one for ages. It's very nice. They've got some really nice buildings in Rotterdam.
And you visited there, right?
No. I do with all my paintings from other countries. Google it. Google Map. Yeah. Google Map, and I walk around every town and I have a good look around it and find the important bits that are paintable. It's really a really good tool to use that if you're wanting to do, you know, landscape painting, town paintings of areas that you've never been to. Like if you want to go and do, I don't know, Venice, for example.
Yes, what about it?
Well, what I'm saying is, if you've never been there and you're wanting to do a painting of Venice, go on Google Map and have a walk around it.
Wow.
You'll find something that will be, oh yeah, I want to paint that. That's what I do.
Vermont Paint Photo says, geez, my town would be easy. It's a mountain and a lake. He goes, yep, that's it.
It can still be challenging, and there's still things like atmospheric perspective to take into account, and you can make a scene as complicated. I was looking at a painting the other day, and all it were a dry stone wall leading down an hill, and yet they made that so complicated and full of detail that it were a fantastic painting. And all it were a wall leading down an hill. And that were it. So it doesn't matter what you've got in front of you, it's how complicated you make it.
Yeah, that's right.
That either makes or breaks the painting. And what balance you have as well with it. So all I'm doing now, I'm looking in the actual painting itself and seeing where I can soften edges, because that's one of the key things about watercolor, about flower painting, giving a nice balance of softened edges and bits that are a bit more crisp. One thing I've got to do that I've not done is put a very thin wash of purple over this. That's better.
So the crisp edges will be up front, close to the viewer, and the soft edges will be further away, right?
Under normal circumstances, yes, I'd agree with you. But we're talking about when you're at the macro level of image, the closer, the more zoomed in you are to something, the less depth there is, the less space there is that is sharp. So that can mean that your background, as is normal, is soft, but also something directly in front of you can be soft, because the only thing that is sharp is in that zone. Yeah. So in this case, it's a matter of knowing. I mean, round here I know it's going to be soft. Round this part it's going to be sharp, and at the back of here it's going to be soft again.
Okay.
But throughout the painting, it's a good thing to go through and just look for things where there's lines in it that are just a tiny bit too sharp, and then you can soften it out. Or you may think, oh no, do you know what? Although that's, I might go, well, I want that a little bit sharper, and it's that tweaking that you do that finishes as a painting off. It's like this here, for example. Want that softening out. There you go. I'm going to bring a little bit of that down a bit. And soften that edge. You may not see this actually, because at quality at video, the levels of various sharpening. Is it looking okay, that?
Oh yeah, and today it's been today the reception has been good the whole time. No blurring in and out. It stayed real clear. It's very clear the whole time.
Oh, well, that's a bonus then, isn't it? You know, so it's about 10:30. So we have got other things.
Yeah, I guess we could just always end early.
Well, we didn't have to. It's just I don't think there's much more to do on this. To be frank, we aren't starting to be, other than like an open forum and with regards this type of painting. Get your questions in now while we're nice and fresh.
Okay, let's see if there's any questions.
Well, it'll take a while for them to respond, won't it? Most of this painting today has been done with dry brush, strangely enough.
Because well, I know with a lot of florals, I know this one artist that does watercolor florals, and it's very flowy with the water. She lets just the paint flow in the water.
The first initial wash over, I did quite flowy and wet. But once we'd done with that, I was quite dry with this, and it has worked to some degree. So I'm just modelling this a little bit. Too faffy.
And did you get that from a reference, a photo reference?
Yeah, it's I think it's an Unsplash. If people want the reference, let me know and I'll send it to them. Because I'd like to see if anybody else wants to have a go at doing it. You know, because what I get from paintings is seeing other people dealing with a particular piece of artwork themselves, and I get to look and analyse how they've dealt with it, and then I'll learn. Because I've got to learn as well, guys. I've got to learn.
Yeah, you can send me a photo reference. I might try it.
Well, this might be a nice one for you to do as a liquid, you know, one of your pour things that you do.
Oh, that's different. Yeah, that's right.
Not the pour.
Not liquid pour, you mean alcohol ink.
The alcohol inks. You might be able to do that. I'm just looking for one or two more deeper, darker areas before I finish. A bit down there, and it's almost.
Oh, Vermont Painting Photos says, Diana, I have one I would love to see you paint. Oh, okay, send it to me.
Last.
Yeah, I haven't used my alcohol inks in a while.
No,
and I do have a ventilation mask, so I can do it. I can't do it live very well. I can make videos on it, but to do live, I did do live, but the fumes still got to me. The fumes built up in the room because of no ventilation. And
do you suffer from chest issues?
No, it gives me a headache. The alcohol ink, if the fumes build up too much, or if I with no ventilation, I would get a headache. But I do have a ventilation mask. But during the live stream, I would keep taking off the ventilation mask and talking to people and putting it back on, and it was no good. Like it didn't work. the fumes got to me then. Because there's no ventilation. I can't open a window in the winter because it's too cold.
I've just got to take a phone call.
Okay, I thought I heard something. Okay. Oh, Ian has to take a
I'll
phone
just
call.
move.
Okay, so let's see, what time is it? Well, it depends on how long he takes. So we can always end early, or we can just wait, or I could do a screen share of my Etsy shop, my original alcohol ink paintings that are available on my Etsy shop. Oh, Goswina's still here. She goes, "Do you see my question before for Ian and Gracie?" Oh no, please post the Goswina, please post the question again. I'm sorry I missed it. All right, okay. Good night, Gracie. Thank you for staying as long as you did. Let's see who's in here. Shout out to the 8 people that are in the stream. Thank you.
Hello.
12 thumbs
Sorry, I'm
up.
back. Hello, I'm back.
Okay, good. He's back.
I had to answer a phone call. It were a bit of an emergency. Right. Well, I'm not right sure now what else to do. So.
So Goswina had a question for us, and I missed it, so she's going to repost it.
Yeah, I've just seen Goswina's pictures as well. What does it say?
All right, hold on. Here's her question. It says, Diana, cool. Diana, maybe it's a cool idea that Ian and Gracie do the skyline in watercolor paint, and Ian and I in acrylic. So she does it in acrylic, and maybe if Gracie wants to, but also for you to do it in watercolor.
So is that painting you've just sent me, Goswina, is that one you've done? Because I'm just looking at it now.
And Grayscale Painting says, beautiful, your painting's beautiful, very impressive. Yeah, I really like it too, Ian. Very nice.
To say I don't really do flowers, it's got the brushy expressiveness that I want in the painting.
Yeah.
Whether it's got that soft delicateness.
It does. I think it does. But I know what you mean. The other kind of soft delicateness, there's a different kind. I know what you're talking about. But here, I still think it does have soft delicateness here.
That's a technique where it's very wet in wet.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's kept wet all the time. It all blends into one another. Maybe one. Well, I did a earlier this year. I did a poppy, and it wasn't nearly like that kind of painting. But
Goswina answered yes. She said yes.
Is that what you did? It's very nice. That it's got a very. Let's have a look at it. What we're all looking at. It's got it's got like a realistic feel to it, but it's also got a very almost like palette knife feel to it as well. Very nice. Like it. That'd be nice if it were like 6 foot long on a wall. Get a big one. In a like a panoramic one. canvas.
Oh, yes.
But
Thank you, Grayscale, for sharing out, and goodbye.
Mm-hmm. Is everybody getting off now then? Well,
Let's
I think that's about as much as I can do for today. I'm sorry for finishing early, but we haven't really had a massive rant of the day, have we? Or what about you, a rant of the day?
No, you had your rant of the day. No, I don't. I don't have one.
That was more emergency of the day, weren't it? You nearly lost me, guys.
All right. Vermont and Paint and Photo says, very beautiful, Ian.
Thank you.
Gaswina says, it is what you want to see. And is it what you want to see in it, Ian?
Right. Is it what I want to see in it?
Yeah. Is it a good enough painting for you? Well, it's her painting. You shouldn't be. Yeah, you should be painting from a photo reference or something.
Yeah. If we're going to do a painting, it would need to be a photo. I can't really do a painting from a painting because there ain't enough technical details in it for me to suss out where I need to place things. You know, because each individual person's way of dealing with light and space is different, and that's the joy of painting. Two artists of a similar standard and put them in front of an exact same piece of reference, and they could come out with two completely different things, even if you tell them to paint in that one style.
Right.
And it's about how a person creates their own emotional expression in the art. And that's why it's so difficult copying another person's art, because you're having to get into their own individual mind.
Yes, Gasmina, do you have a photo? Do you have a photo that you can send? You can do it how you want. Oh, anyway, Gaswina says you can do it how you want to do it, Ian.
Right. But I probably still need a photograph of it.
Yes, Gaswina, do you have a photograph of it?
A painting.
Well,
You're saying that, I'm sure I might be able to find a reference of it myself.
I guess we could end it here.
All right then. Yeah. Okay. So maybe next week we're doing a landscape. Maybe next week.
Oh, not the Rotterdam skyline.
Well, that's what that is.
Oh.
Sorry.
Rotterdam skyline. Okay, I thought I would call that a cityscape.
A cityscape, then. Well, it's still it's still within the boundaries of a cityscape.
Yeah.
They're all landscapes. They have a still life, animal, still life, landscape, and they're the main elements of things that are painted, and portraiture.
Oh, she says she will send a photo.
Great.
Gracie's still here. Thank you, Gracie. Because before she had said she couldn't stay that long. Okay. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.
We'll see you later, all. Happy arting.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Have a lovely weekend.
Thumbs up. Come on.
Oh, yeah, thumbs up on your way out. If you forgot, please thumbs up on your way out. If you forgot. Thank you, Ian, being a guest artist.
No problemo. We'll see you in the week, everybody.
Beautiful flower painting.
There we go. Flowers are rose.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye, everybody. Good night.
Bye.